Hello, welcome back. Okay, this is a video that I have been struggling to make for a while, and I'll explain in just a minute. Hi. A few months ago now on our podcast, my wife and I talked at length about motivation. Motivation for her is an endless supply. She's the most self-sustaining, driven person that I know. It comes very naturally to her. It's extremely annoying. For me though, I always seem to be struggling with it. When it comes to my artistry in particular, my motivated moments are inconsistent. I'll go through like a 2-week stretch of fully realized, driven creativity and then sink for some period of time. It's not for lack of inspiration or ideas. In fact, I consider myself to be quite busy in this regard. But for whatever reason, it's often an uphill battle for me to get working on an idea. Let me know in the comments down below if you also struggle with this in regards to your art. I imagine I'm not the only one, so let's work on this together. The day after we released that episode of the podcast, a close friend of mine who caught the episode reached out and offered up a suggestion. Meditation! Okay, so this is where things get I thought, wow, meditation, didn't think of that. And then I decided that this topic would make for a wicked video. I'll try to find my artistic motivation through meditation. I mean, that sounds wild, let's do it. So what I did was meditate for 7 days, and then I filmed myself doing it. Now for transparency, I think filming it was a really bad idea. I do think that I learned quite a lot doing this thing for 7 days, and I did surprise myself. I actually quite enjoyed it. I would say I was a bit of a skeptic going in, but turns out it's pretty neat. I'd recommend it. So I did 7 days of meditation, and I used the app Oak, which was recommended for starting out by my friend that I mentioned earlier. I decided on 20-minute sessions, and I did something a little bit different every day, increasing difficulty, so to speak, with clarity over my art is the ultimate goal. I thought to start, I'd just try to get used to it, and then by the end of the 7 days, I would be able to summon forth supreme focus and understanding of my artistry. I will say that I really gave this a shot. Each day that I went in, it wasn't like I just sat in front of the camera, let the time lapse roll, and just waited for my timer to go off. I mean, I actually gave this a real effort. And I believed at the time that documenting it was the right approach. But after having some time to sit on this disaster, I realized that meditation can be an incredible tool, but it shouldn't be used carelessly. With great power comes great responsibility. My mistake was using it as a cool way to make a video rather than actually letting it help me with my art, although I may not have realized that's what I was doing at the time. There is a particular meditative state, or what I believe is the meditative state that I was able to get to most of the time in these sessions. But I will say, I do believe that it was hard for me to get there with this video sort of festering in the back of my mind. That's where I really think I held myself back. You know, is this angle right? Does this time lapse look okay? Did I cover the points that I wanted to? Does the storyline, journey, discovery make sense at the end? Oh, it's day 5. I was expecting to be here at this point by now. I've got to be there for day 6, you know, that kind of thing. Meditation became a barrier for entry for my own art, which is not good. So that's why I struggled to make this video. I had this thing scheduled to drop like 3 weeks ago, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't wrap my brain around it because it didn't feel organic. At the end, I sifted through, all the footage. I was ready to script something, and it just felt like I was trying too hard to make this work. So I waited, and at this point, almost an entire month has gone by, and I really feel like I'm in a better place to talk about this now. So does it work? Can you find art through meditation? I think so, yeah, but you have to be careful. This is where meditation can get a little bit dangerous. If you use meditation as a crutch, it will be exactly that for you. If you lean on it as a means to justify your productivity on a given day, like let's say you have a great idea for a project, but you don't feel motivated to work on it. I'm describing myself. I'm not sure if the first thing you should do is try to meditate, which is what I tried to do. In my experience, I think just getting up off your butt and getting started on that project is still the best thing that you can do for yourself. And I'm not saying that there isn't something proactive about going in for a session, but I do think that there's a dangerous potential for it to become an excuse. After a full day of work, trying to relax, but still feeling inspired, you just can't turn it off. Maybe this is a good time to meditate on your art. Find a nice, quiet place to just breathe and focus and let your mind wander on your art. It's okay, just let it circle around up there calmly. Maybe you come up with something cool. Write it down, and then try to approach that idea again the next day. And if you build a habit out of that practice, then maybe these nightly meditation sessions will begin to feel like they're bookending your workday. And there will be this habit of, after I'm done meditating, then I can relax back into my life. I have a hard time turning off my artist mind once it's up and running, and I do admit sometimes I just really don't want to turn it off. But this life that I have, it isn't just about me and my work, although a good chunk of the work is extremely satisfying. My relationships, for example, are also extremely important to me, so I need to be able to find a way to properly balance everything. And I don't say that because I think that makes everybody else happy. I do think that that's good for my long-term happiness as well. Not only being able to find it, but being able to turn it off as well. Okay, wrapping up here, just to clarify, I do think that I could have made attempt number 1 on this video work, but the reality is that I'm simply just not used to meditation yet. There are plenty of people who are on this platform, other platforms, who are amazing guides, really great at meditation, supremely inspirational. I'm not saying that any of them are doing meditation videos wrong. I just think they're more acclimated to the practice of. It's easier for them to stitch meditation into their work. It simply didn't function as needed for me, so I needed to find another way to approach it. So am I still actively meditating? The short answer is no. The first time around, I did it so not correct, it turned me off from it completely. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't deserve another go. So over the next month, I will be off and on trying this again. I'm not setting a schedule, no guarantees, and most importantly, I'm not filming any of it. I'm gonna worry about making a video about the experience later. So hopefully it's not actively festering. So in about a month or so, I will upload another video talking about finding art in meditation once more, but I will give it the approach and the time that it deserves. I hope that this video has motivated you to try this out for yourself. This is an interesting idea, and I think under the right circumstances, it could totally work. Learn from my mistakes. Let me know if you decide to give this a whirl. Join me on this experiment. My advice would be to relax into it, no pressure, and definitely don't go into it anticipating a result before you even get started. That is where I failed. I think the results, if they're truly natural results, will surprise us. I'll pass along a recommendation for Oak, but if apps aren't your thing, consider picking up a copy of my book, An Inch of Whiskey. You could spend hours meditating on the pieces in there, just trying to figure out what the heck is going on. I mean, I think it's poetry. All right, that's it. End of video. Thank you so much for watching. Drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this catastrophe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.